In the first part, we talked about the five key questions of scientific inquiry missing from our understanding of disease. Worldwide spate of ill health seen today, existence of ancient knowledge and science of life, undiscovered repository of food traditions and practices of peoples around the world. Isaac Newton said in 1675, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on shoulders of giants." This is how science progresses. This is how we progress as a race, by building upon each other's work, existing work, irrespective of the culture, region, or geography it comes from. We keep that is true and works after giving it an equal chance, using the understanding gained by all those that have come before us, the giants, to make more progress and leap further. The ancient practices, the science of ancient practices are these giants. And yet they are glaringly missing from what is proclaimed as science today. To illustrate with an example, I met Sangeeta. She's a dentist. Her father-in-law unfortunately got sick with a hard-to-diagnose cough a few years ago. And this is what she says.
So last year my father-in-law was very sick, and we had taken him to multiple doctors and they were not able to diagnose with severe cough. But my mother-in-law strongly believes that even though he was very, very sick, the doctors were not able to diagnose the plant or the herb which cured him was Gilo, because she gave him Gilo along with the medication, but they both think actually the medication didn't help. It was a Gilo plant, that's why he's alive.
So what
today.
Was he diagnosed? What did the doctor say was going on with him?
He had severe cough. They were not able to exactly diagnose what problem he had. They said he had sarcoidosis, or he had inflammation in the lungs, or he had cancer in the blood. But finally, after all the tests, they were not able to tell him exactly what was wrong. He was just treated.
How long did this diagnosis last?
Like about a year.
Just the diagnosis?
The diagnosis part took, the whole treatment and all that took a year, but the diagnosis part from the beginning, it was more than 6 months. It was crazy times.
He was even tested for cancer, like the culture taken?
He was taken, biopsy was taken for the back, from his back.
How did your mom-in-law think of Gilo?
I think some herbal doctor told her that she should give him Giloy, and my mother-in-law believes that it was Giloy, which had, because of that, he's okay. His cough is not there anymore, because he wasn't even able to breathe.
Wow.
Sad.
And you thought he's not going to make it?
Yeah, that's what we thought. He wasn't going to make. But every time I talked to her about how he was doing, she said, I'm giving him Giloy in the morning or at night, twice or something. Okay. She was doing. And
so was there anything else that she did that was different, or just Giloy?
Just the Giloy. Just the Giloy. And she swears by Giloy. Even if, that's why she told me, go get it. If anyone is willing to share, I should have that plant at home.
Yeah. So you're a dentist.
Right.
You're trained in
allopathic.
Yeah.
But I hardly take any medications for myself. For me, I believe in herbal stuff. So if my kids are sick, I would, do ajwain and all that stuff instead of giving them medication. So they have been good, my kids, healthy.
And giving them these herbal medications.
Herbal medication.
Being an allopathy yourself.
Being allopathic myself, I think the herbs work so much better. Tulsi, I do tulsi. I'll do ajwain when they're sick. Since they were kids, I've been doing that.
Wow, and this is whenever they had cough?
Whenever they had cough, because I don't give any medication to kids.
Medicine?
I have never given them medication for cough till today.
Gilo or Tinospora cordifolia, an herb that finds mention in Ayurveda and is known to millions of people in India who continue to use it even today on a regular basis. Yet it is glaringly missing in mainstream medical practice, which is the only face of science that is accepted by governments. There are some questions that rise as a result, and here are some. Why is Gilo missing from medicine? Why don't you know about it? Just like you know about the cough suppressant that you can pick from your local pharmacy. Who is to say or decide which is a more effective or better solution? You might be thinking that drugs undergo the rigor of research, of studies, of tests on animals, on humans before they're allowed entry into medical industry and commerce. Of course, some of the rules are bent sometimes, and research is also found to be biased. But think about this. The ancient practices have passed through the test of human subjects, carry close to 100% efficacy and success rates over a time span of thousands of centuries. A trial and test no drug can match. Plus, they have spared other life forms, rats, guinea pigs, and other animals, from being subjective to torture. The only thing missing from them is billions of dollars worth in commerce and industry, because nature has put these ingredients for all of us in abundance, irrespective of where we may be living on the planet.
At the most, you can call the present day Western science. I use the word Western science and industrial science. Western science and industrial science, there is a little difference. But now the discriminating horizons have actually almost merged. You cannot even see it. Western science is now completely industrial science, we can tell. Say somewhere in the range of 1900 to 1950, I would call it Western science. And the 50s onwards, now there is no Western science. It's only industrial science that is left out. The barrier of time, which we are actually a small speck. So the time is absolutely huge concept. So they have reduced the scientific knowledge and the definitions into the small time frames of human observation alone. See, there is so much more than our human observations, and that can be extended to more than 10 lifetimes, and it is still science. So the general understanding, as I know, being in America, being in everywhere, I mean, I've been a science student all along. So we are all reducing the science into small observable, small time frame, time zones, even our own lifetimes. See, I am not what I was 10 years ago. As I told you in my lot of lectures, every 7 years, the body keeps reproducing itself or replenishing itself, new cells come. So all these issues are not in the present day domain of science. See, no one talks about the replenishing of the cells, the biological science. So the evolution of science into economics is somewhere there. People have lost the science part of it.
This is Dr. Khadar Vali. He will be leading us on this journey, retracing his own, done over several years as he traversed various parts, traveling from village to village, even in dire and broke conditions, talking to numerous people, mostly women, who he calls the torchbearers of knowledge.
You say that you follow traditional practices, ancient traditional practices. So what makes them scientific to you? I mean, what drew you to it?
I was trying to figure out how do we cure these so-called modern lifestyle diseases. And I didn't want the medicines, I didn't want again take a pill and then say this is better. So we needed to incorporate into our day-to-day living, so that actually in the initial stages, I was looking for some medicines, and then I understood this concept of medicine itself is bogus. So we are generating sick people and then say trying to find something. So what if there are no sick people? So that's where it hit me that we have to produce a healthy society, not curing sick people. Hence, my search went into the food, and then the definition of food. Can you believe this? Now it has been 100 years. The so-called scientists till
Right.
today they have not defined what food is, and that's what I have been trying to communicate to people. Unless you define food, you do not know what health is, because every human being knows they have to eat something to live. And how is it not connected to your health?
Right.
And the fundamental question you asked is, how did you
Yes.
get into this
Yes.
ancient system? So
Yes.
the logically I had to study these things. Unless you have knowledge, you cannot speak about anything.
Right.
So that's how I intentionally had to go around. I went around all India more than 8 to 10 years, visited so many villages, so many places, so many forests, spent weeks together, and met the people, the tribals, the old people. Where is the knowledge? You have to go there. No? You cannot sit and then Google. So it's funny for me. So that's how I did all the, and with open mind, because I have already seen what science, the bias, the methods that we followed in the lab.
Community folks that lived and practiced these ancient sciences.
Right.
Many knowledgeable village women were there. Especially women did this job more than men. Most of the time, it is the women who delivered this knowledge of leaves,
Nurturing.
plants. They have the passion, and they're inbuilt emotionally, and that's how the women are actually the torch bearers from generation to generation. The knowledge has been passed on. In fact, sincerely, I try to meet lot of old women to get this knowledge, and have spent, and it's amazing. It is, I was blown out of my mind. Their knowledge, actually I
Knowledge.
have met
Yeah.
almost about 70, 80 years old people. Amazing knowledge, and the concern they passionately, amazing, bountiless knowledge, and bountiless concern for humans and other living things on these old women is amazing, and it is contagious actually.
Yes.
It's contagious.
So you have.
So you start
that's true.
love, that love that they pass on. You need to see them and be with them to know what I'm talking.
Learning from them, understanding, compiling exactly how it was preserved and passed through centuries, through personal contact, interaction, and conversation. After painstakingly gathering the knowledge, he has been meticulously applying this for the last 30 years